Good evening, YouTube. How are you guys? Give me a second to get ready here. Give me a second to get ready here. Hello, YouTube. I did not come on yesterday because it was way too late, and sometimes I do these crazy late lives, and I mean crazy late. And I don't think I should be doing. I'm a hungry individual. I don't think I should be doing the live that late. Let's get the music going. Okay. First and foremost, sorry about my appearance today. Today is a working day. And, I suspect, I woke up one day and I was laughing because I was like, I suspect this is why they were trying to pass me off as some type of lesbian or whatever, because sometimes I just gotta work. Sometimes it's just, not sometimes, most times it's just a ball hat, a t-shirt, pants. It's sweats. It's yoga pants, it's whatever. And if there's a ball hat involved, then that means I'm definitely serious about what I'm doing for that day. If I have my ball hat on, I am very serious about accomplishing whatever it is that I have to get done today. My hair is not, well, my hair kind of, listen, it was really serious to come on today because I wanted to come on last night and I didn't. So let's get into it. If I skip a day, I got a whole lot of notes and then I get backed up. So let me start on the stuff that I want to start with. I have come on here in the last couple months and it's been all kinds of lives that I have had. I've had lives where I've been pissed off and on the brink. I've had lives where, or you know what, maybe I was feeling it and didn't express it as much, because sometimes when I rewatch my lives, I feel like it doesn't quite show or depict how I was feeling at the time. Like there are times I have a really good poker face, I realize, because there are some times where I'm really holding myself back. And the live, when I rewatch the live, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like I was like freaking out in the way that I know that I was. Just give me a second, it's kind of dark here. Yeah, it doesn't look like I was freaking out in the way that I thought I was. So thank God for that. I have come on here and been way more sarcastic than angry. I've been trolling. I'm very, very, very happy that God let me have my time to troll and to say things and get things off of my chest and be petty, but get my opinions out because I was boiling over. It had been a long time and I had kept it all in. I'm grateful for that outlet. I felt relief. Thank God I got that opportunity, because I have been lied on. I mean, a lot of the lies are ridiculous. I realize that one of the lies is that I'm a lesbian. just because of how like, I mean, these people took it to the outer limits. They took it too far. And a lot of that stuff I can honestly let it go. Things like about those kind of things, like things that I think are ridiculous, things I think that people around me know better, it's fine. I could care less. However, I think people do not understand. Well, no, that's not true. Let me take it back. People in my city, I think, in the beginning of this, didn't understand how serious what they were participating in was. Now, the general public in my city understands how serious what happened to me was and what they were participating in was. Now they understand. There are still a few, which I would assume are probably just people who are being bullied or people who are really extreme pushovers that I don't know, but there's still a few that linger. Maybe it's people that just don't know better. They don't know the story. I don't know. But this is a very serious issue. And not just serious because of what happened to me. I am not the, I don't, maybe it's the worst case of bullying with me. Maybe, not sure. But I know that I've been covered, I've been protected, I've tapped into my faith, I've held on, I've pushed through. And there were people, I don't believe they had what it took to make it through. Because more than anything, you need faith to get through this situation more than everything. Like, money doesn't matter, connections doesn't matter, what kind of family you come from, what kind of reputation you had. There is no protection from this except for faith. And that is the tough part, seemingly with everyone or with most people. And the minute most people get into a very tough situation, they tend to blame the good guy, which is God. Or people believe in a singular God. Most people believe in a singular God because their Bible tells them there's one true God. Now, in a way, I can understand that because when you're very devoted to your God, you believe your God is the only God. But the reality is there are many spirits out there. So as soon as people get into a situation that is difficult, even they just perceive it as difficult, the situation's not even really, like, it's not insurmountable, they start blaming the good guy. They start blaming God as if God did it. And it's like there is this, it's like the entities that are really responsible never get any blame whatsoever. They never have to carry the blame of what they're doing. So, first of all, and I was thinking a couple times to say this. Listen, God had to reel me back in and be like, my guides had to literally be like, all right, you had your time, you gotta chill. Because it would have gone overboard. It would have very heated. I was fresh off of fighting, fresh off of it. And I was so relieved when finally someone said, because it's the truth, it's so easy to lash out, it's so easy to fight, it's so easy to argue with people and all. That's the easiest thing in the world. The hard part is having self-control, having discipline, knowing when to respond and when to be quiet, when to relax and when to be quiet, when to have patience and when to be quiet. And being provoked round the clock by people who are saying that you're doing stuff to them. They're not just poking you, I mean, they're trying to beat you down. They're not just provoking you, they're not poking you. There have been those times too where it's just been poking all day long for days on end, weeks on end. There's been that too. But I'm saying these people want to like give you a spiritual beat down all the time. They gang up, they hide in my washrooms, they play games when I come on live. It's like having like listen. Oh, sometimes I even get frustrated because I'm like, this is a lot. This is a lot too. And in the very beginning, it's like, God knows you can handle yourself, you can handle that situation, but that is not the point of what's happening here. And, you know, I think I've said it on camera before how much I admire, how much I really admire how gods behave, especially my mother in particular. And I've always said I would like to be that way, and I can aspire to that, but that's hard. A lot of self-control, patience that makes no sense. Patience that makes no sense. People that bother me know for a fact that, you know, there are spirits in my house for a fact. They still come in here. They still do things. It's crazy to me. It's really crazy to me. It's like if people really believe that you're this horrible person because they know better, but if you really were this horrible person, they wouldn't do this stuff. So I just want to put it out there. I am extremely grateful. I had my time with saying my piece, with speaking my piece, with not even telling the whole truth. There is a ton of stuff I held back because you see, me myself, I have limits. There are some things I want the people in my city to continue aligning themselves with the people they align themselves with, because when it comes out, I want them to be known for having been aligned with these energies. I'm not gonna say it. I know for a fact, but I'm not gonna say it. There are things that are just, it's not gonna come from me, but I know it's gonna come out. So I rest those things there. If people knew these energies the way I knew them, and if they knew the things that I knew, they would even respect the fact that I haven't had any crazy outbursts and it hasn't been over the top. But, you know, I will leave it there. I'm just happy that I had my moments where I could say what I wanted to say. That being the case, these situations, what is going on here with not just my situation, but gang stalking at large is way more serious than I've been giving it the, I've been laughing at it, I've been making light of it, because I was doing everything I could do to kind of hold myself together. Honestly, my anger was not, I'm a very patient person. I would describe myself as long-suffering, not even just patient. But I don't think people know how bad this is. I think a lot of people, depending on who their gang stalking group is and what they do, they just don't see a lot of things. And when I come here and people don't understand, let me explain a little bit of day-to-day how this works for me in my world. These people lay in meditation all day, just to try to like tap into my energy, because I've become very difficult to track. They lay tapping into my energy, and the minute if I take a call or if I answer the door or if something happens, they project themselves into my space immediately. There is a panic and a desperation and a fear in anybody that comes into my energy all the time, and they still do it. It makes no sense to me. They still do it every single day. Right now, who knows if someone's in the hallway, in the washroom. Listen, I came home and a girl was standing outside of my door, no shoes on, meditating. Now, people who practice know what the hell I'm talking about. Outside of my door, right in front of my door. And when we were walking up, it's like she didn't even want to move. Like she seen us round the corner, she quickly tried to put her shoes on, but she wouldn't leave. She was just standing there like she was pissed. I'm like, people follow us to try to walk past the door like they're, it's insane. It's insane. When they try to send spell work to have accidents, it doesn't work. They just slam into the car. And I don't mean they slam once like they keep bumper ride. Like this was a real accident that happened to me. I have every reason to lash out. Every reason. And I don't. And I don't. Because I am trying to learn to be like my mother. I'm trying to be in control. This is a self-control that I myself, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. It is one of the most admirable things I've ever seen. Extreme patience and self-control. I say extreme because I mean extreme. I mean situations where, listen, first of all, the way human beings behave, I've said it myself. If I were God, I'd scrap the whole project. I'd be like, we got to start. And the Bible talks about it, starting a flood. But it's like, how many times you're going to restart with people? We look at how evil this is. We like, I went to bed watching a video on Twitter and they were talking about like some NSA videos, and who comes up with this kind of stuff to like destroy the whole planet, to do this? Like, what is, are people okay? Are they gonna live on a separate planet? How fun is that gonna be to be on a planet with all robots and no more people? Like, what are people thinking about? Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. I don't understand it. But let me not stray too far off of the topic that I'm on. This stuff is very, 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 very serious. And when I come on here and I talk, I speak for not just myself, but I speak for all the people who cannot speak for themselves. And I assume that to be almost everyone. I haven't met another person speaking up for themselves yet. So it's important for me to say what I have to say. You know, if I say, for example, if I call someone a street rat energy, I really mean it. It's not because I'm looking for a way to insult anyone. It's because this is the level. It's like that is how they behave. If these were energies where I can say, oh well, they're sophisticated mobsters or whatever, I would have said that. The truth is the truth. I don't care to say it how it is. It would still be wrong. But I mean what I say. I mean it exactly how I say it. The kind of things that I have seen continue to puzzle me. I've seen it long enough and I'm still grappling, trying to understand what's going on. I'm glad it makes more sense. Still doesn't make it digestible, but it makes more sense. Tonight I want to talk about, from my observation, from what I have gone through, and from seeing it done more than once, meaning seeing a cycle closed and watching it try to be reopened again, the process to gang stalk spiritually. How the process opens spiritually. A bunch of us have talked about, and I'm sure there's a ton of information out there about how do you start gang stalking someone? Oh, well, you hack them and you do this and you do that. But how does it work spiritually? And I'm going to talk about from my perspective. And I think this is important to understand. I have said this a million times and I hope it is understood. The only way to come out of gang stalking is to have the spiritual component managed. It's to have it dealt with. This is the only way. The way that gang stalking is set up, it must be dealt with spiritually. Otherwise, everything else is a complete and utter waste of time. You will never be able to get away from these energies. You have to block them out on an energetic level. Let me get into the first part of it. There's two parts to what I'm going to say. So let me get into the first part of it. And then the second part, I'm going to address some other stuff that I want to talk about. So, first of all, witches, practitioners, whatever we want to call them, they need to make contact with you, at least the serious ones. The serious ones that know that they're getting ready to really dismantle you, demolish you, take your life from you, take your spirit out of that vessel for you. The serious ones, they need to make contact with you. They need to have direct contact with you. They need to establish trust and influence early. Trust so that you open up to them, and influence so that they can influence your behavior. They always come in like a mother or father figure. They always come in as someone who's going to help. They come in as an educator. They come in as a blah, 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 blah. And I've seen it happen multiple times. They always want to help you with something. They always want to give you with something. When you trust them, they can give you gifts that are problematic to you, that have spell work on them. When they have influence, they can influence you the wrong way. They can separate you from your spiritual protection by using your free will and by making you override your intuition. Things that you would think to yourself, that doesn't make sense, from someone who you'd have your guards up with. Because this person calls themselves some sort of spiritual advisor, you would go ahead and probably listen to what they say. And because they've been doing this for a while, or purporting to the community that they've been doing good work for a while, you would want to listen to them. And they've perfected the fake motherly and fatherly tone. They've perfected the fake caring, fake I like you, fake I'm in love with you persona. These are people who also have no empathy, either left or ever had it. These are people who have energies that are riding them. So they share their vessel, which means that they are not 100% in control. That needs to be said. Maybe day to day or here and there, I don't know their experience because I don't carry dark entities, but maybe here and there they seem normal. Some of them, it's far gone and they try to hide it. With dark entities, it is hard to hide because these are entities that don't have manners or respect. As soon as they get to ride, they want to drive. So if you look close enough, you can see it. Now, I can understand for people that can't see it, especially if you've never interacted with these kind of entities, if you don't know what they, I don't want to say look like, maybe feel like, whatever, but you can see it. For me, I can see it. And you can tell. Right off the bat, you can tell. If you want to know what it looks like, I'm going to describe it for you. All of us have seen it before. Once you've been gang stalked, you've seen that entity before. That devious smile, when they gang stalk you and they look like they're enjoying it, that smile, that's the entity. That's exactly what that entity looks like. That's the entity. That's what it looks like, that smile. That hyena laugh, that annoying laugh, that's all it is. Simple and plain. See how simple it is? It's not complex. That is that entity right there. So they need to get close to you. They need to ask a lot of questions. They need to know things. They need to assess your suffering. How well did things work? Oh, we worked on you last night. Did it work? Do I need to do double? Do I need to double it up? Are you suffering enough? They need to be able to gaslight and abuse you depending on what kind of working they're doing on you. Some workings specifically require gaslighting, pissing you off, taking you out of a good vibration. Actually, I would say maybe a lot of them do, but some I know specifically require that. It requires that. They need to, like I said, they need to give you gifts that have spell work on it. They need to learn you, to study you. They need to come in your house to map out the rooms, look at the rooms, how they're located, so they can astral project properly into your home so that they can come into your energy. They need to come into your home and get pieces of things, items with your energy on it. DNA is even better. If they're of the opposite sex, or you would be open to eat, all the better to be intimate with you so they can really properly latch cords into you. They need access to destroy you. They need to know your plans. They need to know about people around you. They need a lot of information. They need to know what your level of spirituality is. I know in my case, there have been people that they have told that I don't know what's going on, and people are trying to give me advice about putting offerings on the altar. Well, not me specifically, but I know what it was intended for. Advice about offerings on the altar. Let me tell you, these people are so devious that they don't mind sacrificing other practitioners. They don't care. There are more seasoned practitioners that had to face the wrath of God than those ones that are just, I'm not gonna tell anybody they're just getting by, but I'm gonna say there's more seasoned people out there in different countries that do seasoned work. I'm not saying I know everybody's work. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So they need to have a negative influence on you and give you false information. Even if they have to make it up, I'm telling you, the core right here, it's hollow. It's hollow. It has entities in it. Everything's blocked, whether or not they want to accept it or not. Everything's blocked. Their third eye is blocked. It's entities giving them insight. That third eye is blocked. Or else they would be able to see the things that they're doing. So first and foremost, they need access to you for all of these things and more, whether direct or indirect. If they can have direct access to you, even better. But if it's indirect through another practitioner, a friend, someone you're dating, whoever it is, they can attach cords through other people as long as they have cords on those people as well. And most people who are practitioners have cords in the people around them, in their networks. Most of these people are energetically stealing from the people around them. Like, I mean, I want to just put that out there. So if people are losing things, a lot of these people, their families fear them. So that's number one. They need to make access. They need to make contact, especially when the remote work is not working or it's not working the way they want to. They need direct access. This is why it is extremely important to trust no one and to isolate yourself for as long as it takes. Don't even get into like, but when, for as long as it takes for God to clean up the mess that you're in. And chances are it's going to be a while, because you're talking about something like a death and rebirth process is not an overnight thing. It's if it were, this would not be as big of an issue as it is. And because it's not an overnight thing, you gotta be able to hang in there, hang on till the end. Till the end. The end. Not when you're having good days, not when it feels better. To the end. Because you got to get back what was taken. So to the end. And I have always said when I got on here, It takes what it takes, and it costs what it costs. So I'm gonna go into gaining access, gaining items with your energy on it. This is why gang stalkers go out of their way to get access to your home, and access to your home is extremely important because they need access to your DNA. And especially if you're going through things like soul rebirth and stuff like that, they are salivating for fresh DNA, new things. It is extremely important to gain access to your home. They will sleep with people, they will date people, they will do whatever it takes. They will hold their vomit and do whatever it takes. And I don't think a lot of them need to hold their vomit. I think these people are primed to just constantly be in a state of lust. So it's not very difficult to do that. They need these items. They need to trap your energy with the items that they're gaining. And I'll call it trap your energy, tap into your energy, whatever it is. They gain your energy. They drain your energy through your items. They utilize it. They pass it on to other people to experience whatever it is. But they need something tangible for that. They will also use these things to permanently bind to you, to feed off of your energy, like I just said, to give to other practitioners, to share in their covens so that everybody has items. They get your energetic signature. It's like a scent, it's like a feeling. They make voodoo dolls with these items. So an example of like someone having a voodoo doll of you is like when Katy Perry was on stage and the one eye was just like shutting on its own. That's a voodoo doll. The voodoo dolls are how they do things to you guys that you guys think it's lasers. If a laser came through your door, your wall, your window to burn your skin, it would burn through the wall. No? This is energy work. This is fire magic. They use these items, they put them on altars and obviously pictures. They find you astrally through all of these items. When someone permanently binds to you, it doesn't matter where in the world you go. They can find you through your energy. So you got to clean the energy up. You could be in another country and they're living off of whatever it is that you do, you make, you earn. They're taking it from you just through energy. Energy doesn't need an address. It doesn't need to be close. They don't need to really sleep with you. None of the above. They don't even really need to be in a relationship with you. Nothing is like, you got to think about it in a spiritual context. There's a reason why you can't make new friends. Yes, some people, I think for a lot of people, it is energetic. In my case, they have to physically get involved for everything they do. Everything they do, they have to try to physically do it because the energy stuff doesn't work. So they have to physically try to stop friendships, physically try to stop sales, physically get into the car accidents, physically try to do things because the energy stuff, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. This is the point that you have to get yourself to, is to the point where energetically it doesn't work. They want to spiritually bind to you. I've talked about the spiritual bindings over and over. I'm not going to say it's simple. I've never done this. I've never seen it done, but it looks to me like they're marrying two things on an altar. I don't know how they do it. I've watched a couple of videos, actually one video in particular. It seems to be very simple, where they bind their energy to yours. I don't know if all of the bindings are permanent, but the gang stalking bindings are definitely permanent. These are permanent bindings. And these soul bindings depend on you always being down. So it's not just that they're being paid to make sure that you don't get back up on your feet. It's that their life depends on it when they're feeding off of your energy. So there are maybe regular gang stalkers, and then there are people that I call them apocalyptic roadside thieves. Everybody sees those apocalypse movies where you have these, excuse me, these people that set up the traps along the side of the road, and they're the most malicious, low vibing people ever. Like, these people could be cannibals, these people could like do anything because they literally prey on the innocent. These are what these people are, literally, in the spirit. These people, that's how they hunt people, and they will go to any end. And it doesn't matter how much or how little you have energetically, this is how they live, this is how they have to live. These people have nothing, they're used to being on their face. That's a regular thing for them. So once they spiritually bind to you, they access you fully. Your energy, your relationships, anybody you're attached to. When I say your energy, I really mean like they come into your energy. And you'd have to go through this to feel it. But I mean they really come into your energy. Like they... How do I even explain this? Okay, so energetic cords. And I don't know, maybe mine was different, but with energetic cords, it's a two-way thing. The readings are like, you know what somebody's feeling at all times. You know what they're doing, you know what they're thinking, you know what they're feeling, you know what they're up to, with or without your permission, really. With or without it, when they're nervous, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're upset, you feel it. You know for a fact, like you just know. And so this is how it feels for them. So I was watching this thing on Twitter last night, and they were talking about digital twins. I don't know, are they talking about twin flames, but they're trying to make it technology? That's what it sounded like to me. Like a printer version of a twin flame. Guys, like, people go out of their way to not accept spirituality. They literally go out of their way and they will recreate things. That's a soul binding that they're talking about. Not your... they're like your digital twin experiences everything you experience. No. That is your twin flame contract that was stolen. That's all it is. They stole a twin flame contract. You just didn't know. That's why you're feeling everything they feel. That's why you're energetically tied to them. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. As a matter of fact, it's perfect. There is a solution. The cords go both ways. The same way they bind to you and they can connect to you, you can connect to them. But you gotta wake up. You don't need... Anyway. This spiritual binding allows your abundance to flow to them by making sure you lose in life. So when you're down in life, it's transferred to them. They're up. When they're up, you're down. That is why I say things like, happiness does not need your permission. You need to be happy on purpose. You need to be productive on purpose. You need to be winning on purpose. Everything on purpose. It doesn't need a reason. Genuine, not pretending. Genuine. It is easier to do, or possible, when you're not a bad person, when you don't have a conscience. Well, these people do not have a conscience, but it's easier to be happy when you're a generally good person. So when you don't need things like, necessarily things like money or certain things to attach to your happiness, it's much easier. This is energetic stuff. Fake happiness and pretending to be happy and then growling inside, it's a real thing. So you have to focus on happiness. It is conscious and it is step by step. You have to focus on loving feelings and high vibration, and it is focus and it is step by step. It is not easy. That is why I talk about what I'm saying. There are those who will look at you and say you're faking it and this and that. They don't understand energy, but you will. So you have to start being high vibrational on purpose. As you're happy, the people energetically binded to you, their moods sink. As you feel good, light, normal, they sink into the energy that they sent to you. That energy of anxiety, that energy of depression, that energy of never having a good day, that energy of being hounded, of being hunted down. That is what it takes for you to get out of that energy a conscious decision, and that is how they fall into it. This is when you're binded. When you're unbinded, they're trapped in it. There's no transferal back because there's no access to the energy. And I'm gonna have to make more lives about how you do some of this stuff. Anyway, anxiety, number 4. Anxiety and depression are mirrored to you. Feelings of hopelessness and low self-esteem, it's mirrored to you. How does it work? How do I even explain that? They're sending it to you, like on purpose. I'm not just talking about, well, they're creating the gang stalking and that's giving you anxiety. I mean, like, they're energetically transferring these feelings to you. So you're feeling it. So I'll tell you, for example, if you're working on something, they will energetically transfer you anxiety, and then they'll start chanting or whispering or speaking negativity into the work. Like, what if it doesn't work? What is even the point? Blah, 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 blah. You're thinking these are your thoughts. These are not your thoughts. You're thinking these are your feelings. These are not your feelings. A person who has started a project doesn't think, what's even the point? They would not have even started. A lot of these low vibing feelings that you guys are feeling, none of these are yours. None of these feelings are yours. These are not characteristically your feelings. And that's one of these ways that you know. That's one of the ways that you know that you're binded. And to be honest with you, every single TI is binded spiritually and energetically, because it will not work without that kind of spell work. It won't. Gang stalkers approach me all the time. Gang stalkers are all over all the time. I don't feel any it's just an idiot. That's it. I don't even like really identify them as gang stalkers really anymore. Like, it's just a moron that walks up to you and is probably scared themselves, and is probably, some of them are being a bunch of them are being forced themselves. I've had really old ladies come up to me, really old men, young kids. Like, I think, what would I say is the youngest? Like, maybe like a kid 8 years old, something like that. Actually, no, there was one in my neighborhood. How old was that kid? Maybe 8, actually, maybe 8, 9. I don't know. They teach him how to do the little laugh, play on my driveway, wait for me to come outside. If people, we're in North America, if people knew the significance of these things, they wouldn't do it, because you don't involve children. Children should never be involved in these things. Pregnant women should never be involved in these things, and old people should never be involved in these things, because their life force is not at its strongest. Children are extremely vulnerable. Pregnant women are not just vulnerable themselves, but they're bringing life. They're especially spiritually vulnerable. And old people are weak. They should never be involved in these things. And I talk all about, what is the English word for this? I don't even know what the English word is, but it's like a bad luck that cannot be cleaned. It's a curse. It's being cursed. That's the way to describe it. Being cursed. It's more than bad luck. It's being cursed. You bring the curse into your life. And back home, we know when you are cursed, when a person is cursed, you don't interact with them, because you interact with cursed people, you get cursed. You participate with cursed people, you get cursed. You're in the room with cursed people, you get cursed. Cursed people, you isolate from those people. Because cursed people will walk through a neighborhood and the whole neighborhood will light on fire. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I'm saying, like, there are people who are carrying too much what we call karma that they cannot pay it off themselves. Living family and heirs cannot pay it off with them. Their network of people is too much to pay it off, because this is how it works. What happens is, when it's too much for one soul to bear, the energy has to transfer to the people around them, the people who are energetically hooked to them, even if they're not in the same country. You have interactions with them, you have loving feelings towards them, you hold on to their memory, you think of them fondly. It's a hook, and so it spills over into you, and then now you have to carry it, and you didn't do anything. You give people moral support, you didn't even participate. You feel sorry for them, you pray for them. Imagine that, praying for people who are under judgment. You cannot get involved. I've warned people in my city. I said, stay isolated from these energies. These energies not only know that, they use that because they're carrying too much. They need to transfer it. This is why they put their money on other people's books, because it's the energy transfer. They know that anything they touch is dirty. Automatically, listen, when you have to live off of the energy of other people, you are depleted for the entire lifetime. You're done. You have zero manifestation ability. You live off of stealing energy. When you need to steal energy, it doesn't matter about money. It doesn't really matter about, like, listen, let me tell you something. These people would have stolen all this money and still not be able to keep it, because just touching the money already curses the money. Anything they touch is cursed. This is what we call malédiction. Nothing. Food doesn't taste good to people with malédiction. Like, it's like insatiable. It's like you're losing the ability to enjoy. They know money doesn't stay in their hands. If they could even get it, they have to steal it quickly. It's like saying, I know that they know that if they were to go and get something, it wouldn't work. So they have to send somebody who doesn't have that on them and go make that person get it and bring it to them. And even then, it's not gonna, things do not grow. It's like a cemetery. Spiritual death. It's like nothing grows there, so things die. You put money there, the money doesn't flourish, the money doesn't grow, it dies. Living hand to mouth, that's how it works. They know this. This is why they have to steal energetically for a living. It's like somebody living with something permanent that they cannot get rid of. Health-wise, they stop caring about protecting themselves or who they give it to or anything, because they already know their fate. This is how it works when they want to get, so now they use it as a weapon. You want to stop somebody's money, you put your money in their money, and you know it's gonna stop. Isn't that crazy? They project to you fear, and then they heighten these feelings of anxiety, depression, hopelessness, low self-esteem, fear. These are heightened with events like mobbing, street theater, betrayals, the loss of your stability, and they beat you down energetically until you lose your mind. Now, one thing that I want to say, you losing your mind, you losing you losing your mind is guaranteed when you are completely unprotected and subjected to this. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. They beat you down so consistently because they want to make sure there is not any moments of peace. Any moment of peace might bring about healing. They need to stop the healing, because if you heal, they lose. Let's start. Again, they are binded to you permanently. They need to make sure you are permanently down, because there is a cord, and it's an artificial cord. It wasn't put there by God. So they need to make sure you don't heal, because if you heal, it is the worst news that they can get. They need to make sure that you are down, you feel down, low self-esteem, feeling bad about yourself, giving up on life. What is the point of doing this? What is the point of doing that? They like to influence you to go live in a van, go live in a trailer, because they want you to be worried about money, not believing yourself. So it's like you're putting yourself in homelessness. You're putting yourself in that poverty mind state. You're not putting yourself in a state of I'm building, I'm growing. It's like they put this sense of urgency in you, in your plans. Things need time to grow and they want to rush it for you. It is important to recognize the spiritual patterns of what's happening, because everybody's going through the same thing. They cause you to be sick. You're always in and out of the hospital. They cause you to be very confused. Decisions that make no sense, that make people question your intellect and your mental faculties. How did you arrive at this decision? It makes no sense. You will be disapproving people that it's like people, places, opportunities that make sense for you, and you'll be approving nonsense. You'll be doing things that it just doesn't make sense, and that is the crown chakra work. They attack every chakra, to be honest with you. They attack everything. Third eye, your intuition, which is, I call it the voice of God. Intuition is outside of being psychic. Being psychic is something else, in my humble opinion. Intuition is something that you have that, in my opinion, again, I think not even entities really should be able to go around your intuition, because your intuition is something that connects dots. It's something that it brings all the faculties together, if that makes sense. Like, psychically, they may have gotten you. Psychically, they may have communicated something, but your intuition is the little nudge inside of you. It's that little gut feeling that's like, feels off. I know what you heard. I know the vision that you saw, but this feels off. I have a bad feeling about this. That's the intuition. That one should be separate. Now, I'm not saying that people cannot manipulate you, but what you'll do is you'll override it because of the spell work. They want to... So, number 5, when we talk about stealing destinies, it definitely sounds like something in North America. Not even in Europe. In North America is the only place. It's like people in North America don't have deep roots. It's what it feels like. North America, other than the native Indians, is like a new land. Places like Europe, especially Eastern Europe, places like Africa, Asia, everywhere else in the world, as a matter of fact, where people have deeper roots, where people have connection to the land, people have connection to nature, people have communicated with their environment long enough. They know spirituality, they know God. Not God in the Bible, but their native gods. They know, they can feel, they've seen things. It's been passed down. But people in North America, it's like, tend to doubt everything. You talk about stealing someone's destiny, stealing someone's purpose in life. Other people can see your purpose before you, and they don't need to be psychic. People can come up to you and be around you and see the passion, the enthusiasm, the whatever, that you do something, and they'll say, that is your purpose. because of the way you do it so well without effort. The way you're doing it can already put a number in someone's head, and they don't need to scribe, they don't need to read your birth chart, they don't need to do any of that. They don't even need to be psychic. There are some people who do things flawlessly, and if the right set of eyes gets on them, they will shoot up like this. This is just simple. So your gifts, people see them. People see them, and whether you believe in it or not, it's there. Not everything requires your belief. Your belief makes things easier, it makes things more potent, it makes things more powerful, but it doesn't necessarily need your consistent, dedicated, focused belief. There are people walking around, and every time they move, they spurt magic all over the place, and other people see that and they know that you are like that. So they know a little bit of that energy, what it will do for them. That is why they hold on so tight to some people. When I talk about stealing destinies, stealing your life purpose, figuring out how you do something, stealing your energy, binding themselves to you, all of these things. I'm not an expert in the destiny swapping or whatever, or stealing, but I know a little bit. It is urgent that they stop you from doing the activity that brings your destiny. They need to steal this thing from you. They cannot compete with you. They can't compete with you. If you're there and you're doing it, they can't compete with it. So they need to get you to stop it. They need to get you to give up on it, to see no merit in it. A lot of the times when people have a passion, they're not even doing it for money. They're doing it for the joy, for the pleasure. That is how you have to approach your destiny and what you like. You're doing it because you love doing it, because it's creative juices flowing, because it's an outlet, because you want to keep improving it, not for money. If you start focusing on the money part of it, well, what is even the point? Because destinies take a long time to cultivate. And that's just the bottom line. It took me 10 years when I started my business to get to the point where it was making kind of money that I could be like, yeah, this makes sense. 10 years. Imagine if someone's already telling me in year one, well, what if it doesn't make money? I got 9 more years to go. You must hold on to your passion. Think about your passions. Think about the things you love to do. Go back to that. Start back doing that again immediately, and just hone the skill. Before you get to the point that the ties are cut, just get back to it. Develop it, hone it, do different things. Become a master, because you are destined to be a master at the things that you're good at. They take extreme efforts to stop you. It's not just for fun. Their lives, their livelihood depends on stopping you from doing those things. They will ridicule, gaslight, sabotage, try to create loss of interest in those things. They will slander, create a lack of support, a loss of security, and a lack of help. They will do anything. Once somebody energetically binds to you, they can't go back. They have to continue with what they're doing. And part of that is you not getting in new relationships. That's a huge part of that. You remaining outside of relationships. Because if they're your spiritual spouse, then why do you have an actual spouse? These people, number 6, have an extreme lack of empathy, which we all know. Now, when I say lack of empathy, what I mean is, like, they do not feel anything to begin with, not good or bad. Like, once you deal with certain entities, it's like these people can't even feel happiness and joy off of normal things. Like, normal things that make people, like, they become dead inside. Normal things that make people smile and happy, they don't have that. Normal joy. They don't feel anything. They don't. Love, laughing at joke, like they don't feel anything. We're talking about real practitioners now. We're talking about people that work in dirty, like, there are some people, yes, that they think they're real practitioners. I'm not taking anything from anyone, but there are levels. There are levels. These people become hateful of humanity at large. Like, you ever meet people and they hate everybody? No matter what, you cannot say anything good about anyone. They hate everyone. They despise people. When people are happy and having a good time and having a good day, like that kind of stuff pisses them off. When they see people suffering, it makes them feel better, because this is what makes them feel better about the pain that they feel inside. These people already have no moments of peace themselves. This is why they need to transfer all of this energy all the time. And this is something that people don't need to take my word for. You can go look it up. You can Google, you're on YouTube. Once you work in this type of practice, once you do these kind of things, like after a while, you don't have peace. You don't have, like, you're waking up to like nightmares. You're not sleeping anymore. You have anxiety. Like, you don't have peace. These energies are, this is what you're trading for, the things that you're asking these energies for. They cannot create anything. You can no longer create anything. You forfeit things that are very valuable to work with these energies. I think a lot of practitioners and a lot of young witches and a lot of, you know, young people getting into things, they get into things and they don't realize. Prime example, a ton of the people they send towards me are young energies, and I don't necessarily even mean in age. Their energy signature is very young. And these people, I'm always like, they have no idea what they're getting into. And when they start, they're fresh. Their energy signature is fresh. And eventually they get like these people that stink like death. They stink like feces. They stink like raw fish. They stink like poison. Whatever it is that they dabble in, their little specialties, these people start stinking. And I don't just mean like they stink where it's like people who are spiritually gifted can smell it. I mean the whole room can, the whole building can smell it. They can't mask anymore. They have to go to the extremes to mask. They want you to have no moments of peace. They want you to look homeless. They want, like I said, everything, every astrological house, your physical appearance must look like you're homeless, you're unhappy, you're suffering, you're looking old, you're looking tired. And if they need to literally interrupt your sleep themselves by staying up at night, if the entities won't do it, then they'll do it themselves. Because it is critical that they knock you down and that you stay down. You are gang stalked even when you're homeless. I mean, you could be in a homeless shelter. It is not enough. It is never enough. They want to take you out of the vessel. They want to take your spirit, your soul out of this vessel. It is the most crazy thing I have ever seen. I've seen TIs complain about the kind of things they suffer in group homes, in shelters, and whatnot. They're hoping that you take yourself out. That would be easier for them and everyone else. And a lot of times that's what they push you towards. That's why a lot of times all of the actions to provoke you and to do all of that, that is what it's inching towards. And does it sound horrible? Could you imagine actually being the person doing that? Not the hope, but the intention very specifically is that you turn on God. This is something that is easier to make you turn on God, because it takes so much time, effort. This is a difficult ordeal with God in tow. So without God, it is impossible. With all these energies helping you, it is still difficult. It is still trying, especially when you don't have a spiritual background. Let me explain a little bit high level how difficult this is. First of all, you need the belief in spirituality. You need a spiritual belief. You need to believe in things that you don't see, and you may or may not have the gift to see. You may not have any gifts, and you need to have blind faith, because it's with your faith that you could do all the things that you're supposed to do. You need to get deep in this spirituality. This is not surface level. You need to get deep with your spirituality. It is not a logical process. It is a spiritual thing. So you're going to do things that don't make sense. You're going to question yourself. It is critical to get deep in your spirituality, because soul binding and stuff to do with gang stalking is deep spiritual work, heavy spell work, complicated stuff. This is a process that they go through. A process. It's not a one-time thing. They need time to work on you. It takes time. It takes time to unalive someone without touching them. It takes time. Some people more time than others. It requires strength. On top of you being very close to God, then God needs time to go in and rework these things. And these things, this might take years. Depending on the situation, you need to clean. I always say it's two hands to clap. It's not just you yourself, and it's not just God. There needs to be other barriers. God fights in the spiritual, you fight in the physical, etc., etc. It takes a while. They have stolen from you. You need to retrieve that back. That takes even longer. Things need to occur on their side, and they are fighting back tooth or nail, because they understand more than you, and they know for a fact what will happen if you get that destiny back. They have orchestrated in the spirit to unalive you. That means that they will be unalived spiritually. A spiritual unaliving is a physical unaliving. There's no point to be alive if you're you cannot be alive if you're not spiritually alive. Everything happens up there first. Children are created up there first. The soul has to be ready to join us, to come here, to live. So it is essential to understand the spiritual part of it. Even if you don't understand it, you got to have blind faith to wait for any amount of time, to be committed for any amount of time. God does not move immediately, because there is spiritual law. This is what they're doing. They're taking advantage of their knowledge of spiritual law. They are not, they understand, they're getting this knowledge from entities. They're being guided by entities. They're being given information by entities. These people, they know that it's going to take a while, and you got to be determined as hell to hold on to a gift for 10 years. Trying and failing. Look at actors. People that make it, 9 out of 10 times, the people that go to Hollywood and make it right away, it's because they sold their soul. It is what it is. It takes time to grow this thing. It takes a lot of disappointment. It takes a lot of knocking on doors. It takes a lot of growing and developing it. It takes time. And as I say this to people, I say this to myself as well. I want it to be right away. But the truth is, it takes a long time to grow and develop your skills. Even yourself as a person, you have to be energetically aligned to that big break where it takes millions of, like, where you come into the millions and whatever. You have to be energetically aligned to it. So with you turning on God, and God is the only person that can get you out of, not person, but these energies, your spirit guides, your ancestors, with you not believing in it, with you quitting, you've given up before it's even started. The work has even started. And they know, and going through this, you have to endure it for a certain period of time, and there's no going around it. It just is what it is. You have to endure it for a certain period of time. And I mean, they're coming down hard on you. And had I not experienced it myself, I could never tell you how hard it is. So if you are a TI, nobody will understand except another TI just how brutal it is, what you're going through energetically. Nobody will understand what this feels like. Even one component of this is hard enough, and they're dumping all of it on you all at the same time. It takes a person who has endured it to be able to talk to you, because people who don't know, they're just, it's like trying to make orange juice from a description in a book and having never tasted it. It's not the same. It's not the same. That is the number one thing you can never do, is turn on God. They want you in a state of poor physical health. And let me tell you, when you start letting your health go, or if they are coming down on you, either way, with your health in shambles, you cannot be healthy or unhealthy and be at your peak of production. Whether or not you need to be seen or not, you need to be healthy. Your physical vessel needs to be healthy. It operates in threes. Everything is in threes, not fours. Threes. Everything is in threes. Mind, body, soul. If the body's sick, the mind cannot be healthy. Too many resources are being depleted on trying to fix the body. The body cannot self-heal. It can't do what it's supposed to do. The vessel is not strong. The vitality is low, and it's susceptible. The weaker you are physically, the easier you are to energetically unalive. The weaker you are physically, the easier you are to energetically unalive. I just talked about before, children, pregnant women, and elderly, how they're more vulnerable. Their vitality is low. Just falling down a flight of stairs might break someone's hip when you're talking about the elderly. So this is why God protects this class of people. This is why God takes it upon his and herself to protect this class of people, because they are more vulnerable. I'm not going to say necessarily more innocent, but they're more vulnerable to illnesses. Why do you think, the elderly, some of them still wear masks right now? It's for this reason. So you have to take care of your physical vessel. One of the first things that they do is they try to make you physically ill so they can pull you down. They can, like, it's like attaching an anchor inside of your body, and it holds you down. They want you in a state of complete lack of finances, not just lack of finances, lack of possessions. If the money's low, now they want to buy everything out of your hands. They don't want you to have a penny. They want you to have nothing. There's something that happens mentally and emotionally to a person who doesn't even have possessions, who has nothing, simulating the feeling of homelessness, the feeling of not belonging. That is where they want you. And if you have a lot, they swoop in to buy things at rock bottom rates, because it's like you're selling all your stuff off. You're selling off all your stuff to get by. Like, that's where they want you. It's very important to understand the purpose of gang stalking. This is the purpose, the intention of gang stalking, is to completely eradicate a person. Completely. They want you in a constant state of conflict with others, because that is going to isolate you. that is going to make you feel as if nobody cares about you, nobody likes you, you get down on yourself, you start beating up on yourself. That is not the purpose. This is not how life goes. It's not even realistic. But imagine your money stops, you lose your possessions, you feel like nobody likes you, nobody supports you, etc., etc. The beautiful part of your personality. Let me explain what a gift is. A gift is the coupling of a Christ-like personality with another gift. It's not just one. Anybody can bowl. Anybody can perfect golfing. Anybody can cook. Anybody can sew. But it's the personality, the continence, the person you present. That is what they need, the energy. They could learn how to do the other thing. It's the energy they need, because it's the energy that carries you through. It's the passion, it's the beautiful personality. These are the things that give you your abundance. That is why in a lot of cases they talk about studying a person's personality. They study your personality. They study how you are. How do you attract people? How comes everybody likes you? And then they pretend to be that. They pretend to be that. And then they take whatever talents you have, you know, whatever you're supposed to have, and they couple it with a fake version of how you behave. And it must work for some people. It must work for some. I don't think it works for everyone, but it must work for some people. This is what they want. They want to get into your energy. They want to suck in on your energy. They can cloak in other people's energy. So keeping you alive, keeping you out of public view, keeping you away from people, and they're draining of your energy, cloaking in your energy, going out there, doing the things that you're supposed to do. That's how they eat off of you. So they cloak into you. I've met people who have been cloaked in energies of people that I've known. So I know for a fact it can be done. You meet someone, especially being gang stalked, and they remind you of someone that you're very close to. And it's like, oh, you remind me of such and such and whatever. That person is just cloaked in energy. That's how you cloak in energy. That's not their energy. They want you in a state of complete isolation from society. They want you away from people. They want you, obviously, for the reason I just said before, they don't want people to know who you are. They don't want people to know that they're just pretending to be you, that they're pretending to be like you. They want to keep you down and and have an inability to move on, and binded to this phase of your life, meaning no new cycles, no new beginnings, no new journeys, like just stuck, blocked, stuck, nothing's moving, trapped, gang stalked forever. That is the feeling that they want you to have. They want you stuck in grudges, in hate, in hatred, whether for you. And I think the ultimate one is they want you hating humanity at large. Not even just hating people, but humanity at large, and not healing or never healing fully, always holding you down and beating you down. The process looks like, and I don't know in what order specifically, but they definitely want to get in contact with you. They want to be close to you. They want to get in. They want to learn as quickly as possible. They want that couple. They want to surround you in from what I experienced, they want to surround you in every way. It's not just one or two people. They want the entire network surrounding you, and they keep you in place. They want to be everything to you. They want to feed you off of your destiny, keep you in place so they could suck off of you and feed you pennies off your destiny. They want you trapped. That is what they're doing. It's like caging something, sticking a hose in it, and sucking everything out of it. Energetically binded, crippled, never having enough, living a poor existence, and never growing or flourishing from anything that you're doing. You'll meet people that work hard, they work around the clock, They manage to have some money, but they never have anything. They never grow anything, not even a house. Everything they beat it out of their hands. Everything they take it out from them. They create a bunch of illusions. That's why they go so far to create all of these illusions, to do all of this stuff. You may have money even, but you'll never have happiness. They take the abundance. They take the happiness. They take the feeling of fulfillment. They take the joy. Therefore, how you move around in the world, you're always cowering. You're not being yourself. It's a horrible way to live. You have to ask yourself, how much of a fight did you put up for your own life? Not how much opposition did you face. Obviously, you're facing a lot of opposition. How much of a fight are you putting up, or did you put up for your own life? That is the question that you have to ask yourself. How long did you endure? How long did you stick in there? And that goes for whether you're a TI or a gang stalker. And that's the other thing that people don't understand. Gang stalkers and TIs are kind of in the same boat as far as like asking me. Only one feels better than the other. Same difference. These are two groups of people, both energetically binded, both being drained energetically, both being used for their good fortune, good destiny, all of that. Gang stalkers are being paid pennies on the dollar compared to what these people are making off with. Even the people in the covens, from what I can see, they're under control, but I don't see what they're getting from it. Maybe just the ones I saw in my city, they're all broke, living in basement apartments. They're on their last leg. You can do spell work and still live this way. They're not independent. They're not independent practitioners that can go out and do their own thing. They are stuck. They are binded. So whether you're a TI, whether you're a gang stalker, you have to ask yourself, how hard did I fight for my own life? How much of a fight did I put up? And I'm just here to tell you, if you're not investing, if you're not willing to invest at least 5 years fighting, then you have not even tried. You gotta be ready to fight for years to get out of this. A commitment that is daily. That is daily. And that is the truth. Because if you get the idea that it's gonna be 6 months or 9 months, you're gonna give up too easily. You invest 5 years to get your future back, it is worth it. Let me put it to you in a different way for those who think, oh my God, I might as well. No. If you were wronged by a major corporation and you are fighting a lawsuit, do you think that lawsuit is going to be right away? It is not going to be right away. It is not going to be right away. It's going to take years to get through that lawsuit because they got to try the case. They got to investigate. It takes time. It's the same thing. Energetically, spiritually, it's the same thing. It's going to take years. You got to go through it. God wants you to remain engaged, wants you to... Gang stalkers do not get no houses and cars. Maybe the chief gang stalkers do not make as much money as you think. They do not. They cannot hold on to things. This is not like this type of life where you advertise this in the yellow pages. This thing takes time to blossom, to develop. Do you know what level of criminality this is? Do you know how criminal this is? Can you imagine an expose coming out on the news about this? This is a delicate business to have. And you gotta have like covens and stuff, and like a lot of people, it takes a while. It takes a while to do this. Houses and cars. They're not what you think it is. No. I think in my situation, there were people who, they were doing it for the purpose of recruiting drug mules. And so it's from the drug money that they made money, the ones that were recruiting for drugs. So what they wanted to do was combine the gang stalking with the drug recruitment, where it's like they're forcing people into it. And God said, not on my watch. Not on my watch. Do you understand? My whole city would have been drug muling, the entire city. Had this technology been taken and put into the... God said, not on my watch. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, you tasted of that. Well, you're gonna give it back. Not on my watch. Absolutely not. They use gang stalkers to keep drug mules in line, to make sure that they can never leave. They use gang stalkers to bully celebrities, to bully politicians, public figures, whatever have you. That's where gang stalkers come in. But it's not a pretty job. It's like the plumbers that are unclogging the toilets. It's like that. It's hidden. Nobody wants to be publicly aligned with it. Nobody wants to touch it. They're not... What if they told people that this is what they're gonna get? That's BS. The gang stalkers are where... For a gang stalker to really prosper, a gang stalker needs to connect to these type of energies. These kind of energies that will give consistent money. Otherwise, who's hiring gang stalkers? Somebody who's getting a divorce, some company that they want to get rid of somebody and they don't want to fire them. It's like things like that. Practitioners are taking money for petty work, love spells, and like, you know, oh, my husband, I don't want my husband to leave me, stuff like that. To get to the big leagues, do you know how much time that takes? Do you know how much connections that takes? It's not... All gang stalking is not the same. They're not created the same. And you're talking about, oh, military technology. What gang stalkers have money, have enough of a budget to go get military technology? Do you know how much money it's going to take to access someone with that sort of clearance? That sort of security clearance? To put security clearance like that in the hands of civilians? Listen, let me explain it. Do you guys not watch the news where you see like how much companies in Silicon Valley have to protect their technology because somebody's gonna make somebody date somebody just to get some information to run off with it, to go develop something? How billionaires will be dating someone, it's their girlfriend or their wife that sets them up. So what do you think will happen with military technology that they have to protect? Why would they put that in the hands of civilians when they have to worry about getting it into the hands of other countries? They have other countries to worry about. You think if you're working at that level, having access to that the government doesn't own you? There's two kinds of ways to work a job. You can work a job and your life is yours, but you exchange your time. And then there's some things where you work, they own your life. You pledge. They own you. They own you. It's like it's like when you're president, you're never fully ever a civilian again. You have to get Secret Service for the rest of your life because of the secrets, the knowledge that you hold. They always know where you are at all times. I'm not saying that technology doesn't exist, but you would save that technology for like those kinds of people. Those people know when you're on the toilet, when you're breathing, when you're blinking, how many blinks per minute. What are they wasting that kind of technology on normal people for? This is a world that is run by money. If money is not connected, people are not just wasting this type of time for free. It needs to make sense. They're not doing this for free. If a laser can come into your home and burn your skin 3-4 walls deep into your home, it will burn through all the walls to get to you. This is fire magic. You guys got to explore the esoteric side too. It is open to everybody. It is easy to get the ideas to go and understand it. This is how they start. They start one step at a time, little by little, understanding this stuff. There's no reason why you cannot either. as I was saying, you really need to invest the time to say, I'm taking my life back, I'm rebuilding it. If you're going to invest the time doing it, you need to do it in a spiritual way, because you need to unbind spiritually first and foremost. Invest the time. You will slowly but surely see the improvements in your life until you can walk away. What does it look like when you energetically walk away? It means you're still living in the same place, doing the same things, living with the same neighbors, gang stalkers all around you, and they cannot access you, they cannot touch you, they don't bother you. You walk the streets like a normal person. Why? Because God unties it in his and her own way. In a way, it's an untying of this situation, excuse me, that makes sure they have to leave you alone. The logistics is not your responsibility. We leave the spirit aspect to spirits, and the physical aspect we take care of. What is the spirit? What is our job? Making sure you pray, making sure you meditate to calm yourself down, realign your chakras, making sure your spiritual routines are taken care of, making sure you take care of this physical vessel, because it houses not only you, but the energies that need to help you. These energies need to help you from the inside, not hovering outside. These people are sending attacks in. They need to be in to fend it off. These people are sending spirits after you to possess you, to attach to you, monitoring spirits, listening to thoughts, knowing where you are. They need to make sure that these things don't attach. They tell you how to clean it, what to do. It's time to do this. It's time to. They need to also slow you down so you don't develop things before their time. You don't do things before their time. If you're not ready for your film to have its big break, you cannot release it too early, because someone's going to steal that idea. So they need to allow the gang stalking to work for a little bit. Use the gang stalkers to knock things down, because it's not time. Gang stalkers want you to develop things before time while the cords are still attached, so that they can steal it from you energetically. Your faith will be tested, and you have to be prepared for your faith to be tested. You have to be ready to be knocked down 10,000 times and get back up 10,001 times. Giving up being not even an option. Never giving up on yourself, never giving up on your life. And let me tell you something about this gang stalking journey. You will ask God, why did this happen? Why am I on this path? But this is the path. You never had another path. The gang stalking is the path. You got to go through this. You have to go through this. This will prepare you for where you have to go. Wherever you have to go has a ton of spell work. Wherever you have to go has a ton of people who are like this. Wherever you have to go is a scarier place than where you are right now. It builds you up. Let me give you an example. I used to want the gang stalking experience to hurry up and be over. Now I'm at a point where it doesn't matter if it's over or not. I live with it as it is. The spell work doesn't bother me because I can deal with it. Whatever they send doesn't bother me because I can deal with it. But you know what happened as a result of being attacked so much is it doesn't always hit. I don't even know if they're sending spell work sometimes. I can't tell because we've become so immune to it. It just been being hit with the same thing over and over and over and over. It's like sometimes I don't have to cleanse from things. Sometimes it doesn't work. I've just become immune to things like anxiety. Like the anxiety attacks were something with the anxiety attacks, it was something that I purposely worked on. I purposely worked on it because I was also energetically using that energy that they were sending me. A lot of the stuff that they sent me, I was also using that energy as well. So there are things that probably don't hit because of the way that I use that energy. But look, you got to go through the process. The process is learning. It's a boot camp in the meantime that God is doing what God is doing. So what does that mean for you? Got to learn how to cleanse. Got to learn how to pray. When to pray. What prayers are appropriate. How to communicate with spirit. Spirits communicate with different people differently. Some people they can do this way. You will have your own unique way, and you need to develop that relationship, which also takes time. By the time you break through the gang stalking, you're a different person. By the time you get through the gangster, you cannot be this person with all these past people around you. With everybody from my past, I came from corporate. I had stores in malls. Do you think I could talk like this and say these kind of things with that kind of network? I couldn't. I had to be isolated from that. That's what I'm saying. You have to become a different person, but the person you become by the time you're out of here is a person who can handle this. Is a person who this is nothing. When you meet a new person coming against you, you're like laughing. You're like, "Oh my god, I saw all of this 5 times before." They don't even have new tricks, and a lot of times they use the same thing over and over, to be honest with you. It's not like the same way they say there's nothing new under the sun. It's like it's like the same thing. The same thing. The way they approach you, the way they talk. When you meet, listen, it's meeting entities is what you're doing. You're thinking, oh, I'm dealing with this practitioner and this practitioner is attacking me and I'm dealing with this person. That you're meeting different entities. You met that entity and that entity and that entity. So you recognize the entities. You recognize the entities when you meet the practitioners. Oh, okay, it's that one. Oh, okay, it's that one. Oh, okay, it's that one. You got to get yourself to that point, because if you're being gang stalked, God has a deeper plan for you, and that is the truth. And whatever way your spirit guides need to get you to the information, that is why you're there. That is why you're put in that position where you're hearing it. When I used to do lives on Instagram and my Instagram's hacked, they would start taking everybody out of the live. They didn't want people to know this. They don't want people to know what's actually going on, because people are here and they're scared of the gang stalking. The gang stalking is the least of your concerns. Your major concern is the spiritual component of what they're taking from you. So now you're homeless and you should have been a multimillionaire, or at least had like a little nice business, you know, at least 100,000 there. They're taking from you. They're blocking you from what you're supposed to have. That's the true burden. So you got to go back and think, well, what was I into, or what was I headed towards when this all started? What did I lose? This one guy said he lost an excavation company, 7 properties, and all this extra stuff, and that is what he lost. That's what they took from him energetically. There's people out there with those same ideas, the same because they probably had people working in his company and somebody dating him and this and that, and they take all the information, they put it together, and there's somebody out there who's eating off of that energetically, looking for their next victim. And they're sharing it amongst themselves as a community. They're just not paying the trolls and the street gang stalkers and whatever. These are the people that are not getting anything out of this. These are the people that are on the bottom of the totem pole. If you're in a position, and you are as a TI, all you have is time. All you have is time. And that's not bad, because that means time is still on your side. Because there are people, like people in my situation, time is up. They're not participating in time anymore. How do you know when you're not participating in time? When you're frozen. That's where they want you. Frozen in time. Do you know what happens when you're frozen in time? Everything else around you grows and you're the same. You're fighting the same battles. You have the same grudges. You're doing the same thing. You do not move forward. They want you frozen in time. So you need to make a conscious decision, go in prayer, reaching out to your ancestors and your spirit guides, saying, it is time for me to move on from here. I am ready to leave. Show me the way. what next? It will be the most magical experience you've ever had in your life, because they will start to show you the way, because they've been desperate for you guys to come to this conclusion that it is time to walk away. I want everybody to not focus on the amount of time it takes to walk away, but only to focus on the resolution. Be resolute, be determined that you are walking away no matter what happens, no matter how it happens, that you have to leave no matter what you leave with, who you leave with. You're not leaving with anyone, by the way. This is a solo journey. You're walking away by yourself. And let me also explain to you, a byproduct of you leaving, a byproduct of you walking away, a byproduct of you getting your destiny back. So in the example of the guy with the excavation company and the 7 properties and all of that, he would retrieve all of that back. He would work hard. He would be fought down at every turn. He would be determined. It might take him a couple years. He gets his excavation company built back up better, because he's done it with God, with a strong faith. He's probably going to be the person who's so grateful that he has a picture of God in the back, in the front, on his pamphlets, wherever. So now this business is in service of God. And guess what? Guess how God is going to protect things that is in service of God. Your story of coming back to life is a testament to God. And as a byproduct, the people who stole from you hit rock bottom, face judgment, come to justice, because you took back what was yours. Do you see how that works? It's not just you getting it back. It's them losing it because they're living off of something stolen that is not theirs. If I am Ed the excavation guy, and I love excavation, it's my thing. My ads are gonna, people are gonna see it in my ads. I'm gonna be like, I'm Ed the excavation guy, and I have that little song and everything I do, and people know me, and I'm so hungry. I have pictures with the mayor, and I'm doing this, and I'm pushing my business. No matter who comes, if they have a lot of money or a little bit of money, Ed the excavation guy is gonna shake hands. Come in, don't worry, sit down, have a coffee. It is his passion. The person who stole it is not passionate. It is just a business. It is cold, it is icy, there's no passion. The people who steal your content, my content, regurgitated, I wouldn't sit through that. But the people who have passion, who it comes from them, who it is theirs, the way they give it to you, it hooks you in, you love it. You come back. They're more expensive, slightly more expensive than other people, but you like Ed the excavation. You come for him. That is why it's the excavation gift, but it's also you, the energy you carry, your abundance. That is what makes it prosperous. People think it's the excavation. They just like you. They like talking to you. They like being around you. It is you. You sell it. You're the one who pitches it. You're the one they liked. That's why you got the loan, because they liked you. They didn't give you the loan because you had the greatest business plan. They believed in you. You looked them in the eye and you shook their hand and you said, I'm going to repay this loan. And they knew that this guy's going to work his behind off to pay this back. He's serious. It's not a hobby. It is you, your energy, that makes or breaks everything. You got to get your energy back. That's what they took, your energy, the beauty in you, the part of you that meets people and people light up. You light up. Hi, how are you? How's your day? People love that about you. Whatever it is, the little things that make you weird, those weird things, the crooked teeth, the smile, the whatever it is, that's you. Somebody should not be able to take that. But they do. By beating down on you, they take away your zest for life, your zeal, who you are. And here you are with a fraction of yourself, and they're running around pretending to be you. You got to take it back. And you start incrementally, little by little, get back to yourself. Get a routine. Routines kind of are not your best friend during gang stalking, because they learn them. But you get yourself back little by little. I talk all about it on my page. I made a whole playlist about moving on from gang stalking, little by little, incrementally. Reach for the better feeling thoughts. The low hanging fruit says, why should I bother? I've been doing this for 6 years, 10 years, 12 years. The higher fruit, the higher feeling, the better feelings thoughts, they're gonna need you reaching for them. They're gonna need you to consistently go back to places that feel good, videos that feel good, advice that feels good, people that are a certain way, and you keep reaching and reaching and reaching, and then you get back there to that place slowly but surely. And I tell you, one day, when you isolate yourself from all that chaos that they've been doing to you, you've done all your spiritual work, you know how to handle the stuff coming at you, and you are ready. One day you'll walk outside and there will be nobody there, and I promise you not just it can be done, but it is guaranteed. It is guaranteed with God and with dedication. It is guaranteed. And not just that, it's not just getting back what you was taken from you, it's taking it to the moon. Because guess what? If I had an excavation company and 7 properties, why on earth would I just go back to just the excavation and 7? Why? Because I've already done that before. I've mastered that. I know how to do that. With the kind of battles I've come from, I want excavation companies around the country. You think going and extending myself financially is anything compared to what I've been through? That's the mentality that you're going to come out with. And you're going to make damn sure nobody is ever going to do that to you ever again. You had to be strong. You had to be that person who doesn't let a single boundary get crossed and nobody pass their place. You had to get to that point where you're a fighter. And that's the point of the journey. Because with one excavation company, you could do that as Ed. But you got to turn to a new person to have the fleet across the country. It is the new person, the reborn person, who has the companies all across the country. It's the new person. So this is what I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to leave you with that. I had some other things to say, but I'm going to leave the other stuff for another video because I'm already over an hour. It's not the target physically dead. It's the target dead inside. But there are people that do commit suicide. There are people who don't survive this. Don't think that they're not. I don't know that them to necessarily attack people physically. I don't think they necessarily attack people physically. I think gang stalking is meant to be covert. They're not supposed to do things where you can actually see what they're doing, but you know. 2 cards, very relevant to what I'm talking about today, to what we talked about today. These are my spirit messages cards, messages from spirit. These cards have helped me through some dark days because you know we're by ourselves. A lot of the information that you get is all about the dark world of being a TI. It's stuff that will keep you up at night wondering what the heck you've gotten yourself into. How did this happen to you? Not good info. No more of that. You know everything you need to know. Most TIs are like encyclopedias. We need positivity. We need positive messages. You need happiness all over, all around, and you reach for it yourself. Movies, shows, uplifting information. If somebody's gonna give you information, it better be to get away from this. We don't need any more information about how horrible this is. We know it's horrible, and we definitely don't want to be thinking about it. I used to love tarot. I had to stop watching tarot because it's regurgitating the same old story all the time. I don't care about this story anymore. I gotta move on. So this is why I got myself these spirit messages cards. The first one says, resilience is one of the strongest qualities you have. It has gotten you through so many trials and tribulations in the past, and it will continue to do so. Lean on that inner tower of strength anytime that you need it. You've got this. One time I was reading these Mariah Carey lyrics about the hero, And it says, when the hero comes along with the strength to carry on, the strength to carry on, and you cast your fears aside because you know you can survive. And when you feel like hope is gone, look inside you and be strong, and you'll finally see the truth that the hero lies in you. And the hero is not just your spirit guides and your ancestors and those helping you. Hold on, my cat's going crazy. You guys want to let him out? You can let him out because he's like, it's gonna go nuts. The hero is not just your spirit guides that are with you, it's also yourself. I have been depleted of hope, depleted of strength, and I really mean exhausted down to like 1%. I mean, I'm down bad. Masking it from gang stalkers that I'm depleted and still pushing the next day, not even getting a good night's sleep, as you know, and getting up the next day and keep going and being encouraged by spirit, having that cheerleader when I'm crying. All of a sudden a song comes on YouTube and it goes, smile, you look better when you smile. And these things are encouragement. And I had it through spirit. And I just want to be that for people who don't yet have their spiritual relationship that strong, but it can be. And I just want to tell you, there's nothing so special about me that my relationship with spirit can be that strong that yours can't. Yours can be just as strong. The strength depends on what you put into the relationship. You put in that love, you put in that time, you put in that devotion, you put in that discipline, and you try to reach out, you try to help. It takes an earnest heart. That's it. It's the heart. That's all God cares about. God doesn't care what life you had before. God doesn't care any of that. You come with the clean heart, the earnest heart. You're ready to change. You're honest, you're authentic. And I'm not saying that there's not some karma to pay. But I am saying that with heart, you can get through this. So you have to understand that no one is coming to save you, that you must do it yourself. You must take your time and invest in yourself. But as you invest in yourself, you're developing skills and abilities that cannot be taken from you. And believe me, the reward of working with God in this way, of just by your strength being a story. This is what God wants, stories that God is real for other people. So other people can be like, wait a minute, the other people that are being gang stalked in your city are gonna be like, wait, is that person coming back? It's not even the other people as in other TIs, because TIs are isolated. It's the gang stalkers that are stuck. The gang stalkers that are stuck are looking at themselves like, wait a minute, they can't knock that one down. What the hell is that one doing? In my city, gang stalkers started buying crystals, started burning sage, started using salt to protect their homes. They wanted to know everything I was doing because they too are stuck. They too are being spiritually persecuted. You think somebody really wants to get up at 6 a.m. to go follow someone outside? That's their dream job for next to nothing. You should hear the way some of these trolls are making content up here. They're grumbling, they're upset, they're resentful. They have no choice. They have to do it. They have to do it. This is their life now. They're stuck. And they're just getting by. They're just getting by. Not necessarily through youth. They catch people at any age. They catch people in middle age, at any age. Like, once people know about gang stalking, they have to gang stalk you and bring you in as well. They can't let you free. This is like a closed practice. It's like they gotta bury the bodies. They gotta bury the information. But those people are stuck. Those people also need a way out. Those people are also being spiritually persecuted. Those people also have attachments on them, monitoring spirit, all of that. It is a process. They make a business of this. So resilience and heart and your spiritual dedication is all you need. You don't need anything more. If you say to God, I commit to you whatever time you need, I commit to you my discipline, I commit to you that I'm going to continue going on every day, and that you investing this time in me for us to get out of here will not be wasted. You will get out, guaranteed. When I was going through this at the height, I'm talking about horrible, aggressive gang stalking at the height of it. I I was like, God, I trust you, but like, man, I don't know how you're gonna do this. There were so many days I was going to bed and I was like, listen, it's up to you. I don't know how you're gonna do it, but I trust you because I have no choice. This is my last hope. I have no choice. And I go to bed and God does it, hook, line, and sinker, and I gotta apologize. I gotta apologize every time, like, oh my gosh, I should have had more faith. I should have had more faith, but I hung in there. And I'm still hanging in there. It's not completely done. My situation's not done, but I hang in there. And I trust all the advice given to me, even when it's difficult. Sometimes I am grumbling, sometimes I'm resentful, sometimes I'm irritated, but God knows why. And every time you follow the advice, you're like, oh my gosh, that's why. Spirituality doesn't make sense. It's not logical. You have to learn it. The second card says, make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. You need to know your worth, even when others don't. You are not what people think of you. These people will beat down on you. They will disrespect you. They will pass your boundaries. They will treat you like you're nothing. You need to start standing up for yourself in certain instances and tell people no. Just today, I went out and I was doing something and they were looking for a way to bother me and they just couldn't help it. And some guy comes up to me randomly and just starts off, and I said, who are you? And he didn't know where to take it because it's like people never question them. And then I said, who are you? And he's like, I was just interested. And I was like, get out of my face. He was so embarrassed, he ran off. You got to start standing up for yourself. Little by little, change every single behavior you have. And you need to listen to affirmations. It sounds like BS, but listen, you'll break down crying a couple times because you may or may not believe what the affirmation says, but over time you will. I don't care how ugly you think you are, you gotta tell yourself you're beautiful. I don't care how not smart you think you are, you gotta tell yourself you're intelligent and prove it to yourself. You gotta speak to yourself the way you want other people to speak to you, so that the day someone speaks to you in a way that you don't deserve, it's foreign to you, because God will never speak to you that way. God will never treat you that way. I promise you, when you get close to God, you will not feel worthy because of the kind of treatment you've been accepting. You will feel as if, why is God so kind? Why is God so nice? Why is God so patient? I have made a ton of mistakes in my gang stalking journey, a lot. Mistakes that almost costed me. Times I didn't listen and I didn't listen on time. And God has been in there to save me every single time, and not one time got upset with me, not one time made me feel bad. And every time I start getting down on myself, God's like, it's okay, start again tomorrow. Tomorrow's a new day. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow is your fresh start. And that's what you can always say to yourself. Anytime you screw up, you say, tomorrow is my fresh start. If you've been on a streak of 2-3 days of happiness and then you fall, tomorrow is your fresh start. And you count that day as your fourth day. You skip that day that you didn't do good. You don't start from one again. You start on your fourth. That is your fourth day now that you've done amazing. And you continue on from there until you get to your 100th day of being happy. And by that time, it is a habit. They cannot get you out of it. 100 days is like 3 months and some. 3 months. If you practice even 1 month, it becomes your normal way of being. But you're doing this with practice and intention, and it must not be attached to circumstances. Whatever is happening around you, it cannot be attached to you. You have to be happy before the gang stalking stops. You have to be happy before your money flows in. You have, because it happens spiritually and energetically first. I give you the example of somebody who got recruited for, not recruited, but signed up for, what do you call it? Drafted into the NBA. They have not sat in the ceremony yet. They haven't signed officially yet. They haven't signed to the team yet, but they know that they're being drafted. Right away, that person walks, talks, and is treated as a millionaire immediately, because it's guaranteed. As long as they stay alive and out of controversy, it's guaranteed. As soon as they sign that paper, they sign to the... It's like that. You've been given your documents that when you get out of this, you're going to be better than you got in. You already have the... You just have to walk through and get there. Just get there. And I say 5 years, my process took 2. And energetically, I can feel that it's near ending, because I'm not gang stalked on the street anymore. I'm not followed and whatever. Every time I say this, they get mad and they try to kick it up again, kick up the dust. I don't care anymore. Whether I was or not doesn't matter, because I have learned so much. I have practiced so much not caring. I used to want to let them know that I know you're a gang stalker. I notice you and this and that. I don't care anymore. I don't even make eye contact. I walk the streets. I mind my business. If they're there and they're monitoring me and their kid or their dog gets in my way, very nice. The animals didn't do anything. The kids didn't do anything. But that's the level of peace that I've gotten to, that I don't see them as the enemy. In fact, I see them as a young family who is probably terrified and don't know what the heck they got themselves into with a kid. So that's how I look at it. Peace will come with practice. It will take way less time than you think. That part at least comes sooner. It comes earlier, before the actual like following you everywhere and tracking you. Before that happens, the peace happens, because that you can control. So you find your peace, find your self-esteem again. A lot of us get beaten down in that aspect. You start feeling, it's not even you. Take your time with yourself. And for anybody who is new here on my channel, my focus is on positivity. My focus is on fearlessness. My focus is on moving on from gang stalking. My focus is on upliftment and solutions. My focus is on telling you how I did this so you could get the heck out of here, because no human being deserves this. Stay away from negative information that is going to bring you down. Stay away from looking gang stalkers in the eye when you walk the streets. That is going to further make you feel as if the whole world around you is gang stalkers. It is not true. If you put your cell phone away, don't take a shower, don't prepare, don't do anything, race out the door really quickly, and they have no time to figure where you're going, and you race off somewhere, you'll see that the entire world is exactly as you left it. And I recommend doing that. I have a short about that. Leave the phone, that's your tracking device. Leave the phone, leave the car, run off somewhere. It could even just be in your neighborhood. Go for a jog, something, but it must be completely off the radar, something you've never done before, off your schedule completely. And you got to do it quick, unexpectedly, and go outside. It could be midnight. It could be whatever time. Go out to like a McDonald's or a coffee shop and sit there and realize that nobody cares about you. Nobody looks at you. You're having your coffee and everything is exactly the way that you left it. That is the world that's still waiting for you to reemerge and come back from this dark place. And you will. You get one taste of that, you're going to become a very hard TI to manage, because it's like a blood to a dog. You are not going to eat kibble anymore. You're not going to settle. You're going to be like, no way, no way, no way. I want whatever that was. I want it again. It's going to be exhilarating. That is what I did. I snuck off time and time and time again, to the point they probably have a tracker on my car now. They probably do. But I'm too hard to pin down. So I put a lot of information on my channel. Check out by the playlists. I try to categorize as many videos. I don't think all the videos are playlisted, but I try to put as many things as possible. If you're new to the channel, try to go through it. Anything like it's all important. The healing is important, the spirituality is important. I teach you how to clear your energy so that you don't have to feel the energy work. That is one of the most important things to learn how to do. There is the how-to playlist. Go learn how to do spiritual baths, cleanse your energy, and cleanse yourself. If you've been a TI for a while, you need deep cleansing. Once the cleansing begins breaking off the energy cords off of you naturally, with enough cleansing, they have a harder time accessing you. So thank you for everybody that hung in there. Check out the channel. Please do like the video, guys. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel. And subscribe to the channel, share it to your networks if you can. It helps the channel grow. As you know, they beat down any good channel because they don't want people getting that information. So thank you guys for hanging in there with me, and have yourself a great night. And just remember that God loves you.